So, today we are going to discuss a new chapter, and the title of the chapter is E-commerce and Supply Chain Management. In today's world, e-commerce has evolved, in a very large scale. And the meaning of e-commerce is very much well to known. That means well known to you. Electronic commerce. The way we are buying something, the way we are selling something, we use electronic system, isn't it? Today, I bought some household items. That means daily household items online, chaldal.com. Maybe you know it. Do you know Chaldal? So that means I have applied e-commerce platform to buy my daily necessaries. Similarly, in operations management, the operations manager buy raw materials from outside, sell the finished goods to outsides. In supply chain management, there are three components. Number one component is internal operations. Internal operations means converting inputs into outputs. That is operations management, that is production management. While the internal operations is done by the operations manager need to collect the raw materials. And the portion of the relationship with the upstream of the internal operations is known as, external suppliers. And the lower stream means, after finishing the product, converting the inputs into outputs, the operations manager send the inputs to the external distributors to sell the product. So there are three components. One is internal operations, and the downstream of the supply chain is known as external distributions, and upstream of the supply chain is known as external suppliers. So these three parties are there in the supply chain management. Supply chain management, as you know, and the name says that it is a chain. It is a chain of activities. I'm talking from the 3 points view, but if we say what is the supply chain of garments factory? Internal operations of garments factory means converting fabric into garments. This type of garments are manufactured there. Fabric into garments. It is, sorry, internal operations. So what is the upper stream or external suppliers? External suppliers includes number one, chemicals industry. Chemicals industry provides chemicals for producing, synthetic fiber. Cotton industry, agricultural industry supplies natural fiber. So fiber chain. Supply chain means different chains, fiber chain. And then fiber is converted into yarn. There is a yarn chain. Yarn is converted into fabric. There is a fabric chain. Fabric is converted into garments. That means internal operations of a garments company. These are the upstream of the garments operations, internal operations, and the downstreams or external distributors. What are the external distributors? Number one, the retailers. Retailers take the goods from garments company to their outlets or sales centers. External distributors, there are a lot of steps involved in external distributors and distribution. Say for example, buying, then shipment of the goods, then releasing the goods from the shipment, commercial documentations, etc., etc. So these are the three components of supply chain management. And ultimately, in sum, we can sum up the chains of the supply chain management means external suppliers, internal operations, and external distributions. These three component ultimately made up the total supply chain. And we can subdivide the supply chain into micro supply chain and macro supply chain. Micro supply chain means that the internal operations and external distributors and external suppliers. The external suppliers are subdivided into few more components, micro. That I am talking internal, distributor, internal, external suppliers includes, for an example, yarn supplier, fiber supplier, fabric supplier. This supplier also includes dyeing, printing, finishing. These are the micro supply chain. That means within the supply chain, we are explaining from the minor view. That is micro supply chain, and another is macro supply chain. The other external suppliers includes macro supply chain. Garments industry, there are composite garments mills who buy the fiber, either natural fiber or synthetic fiber. Natural fiber means cotton, and synthetic fiber means synthetic raw materials. And this synthetic fiber is prepared or manufactured from petrochemicals industry. So textile industry is if we consider composite textile mill, that means the inputs of the composite textile mill is the fiber, and they sell the garments directly. So this is internal operations. This is internal operations for a composite mill. And who are the external suppliers? Agricultural industry. Agriculture is different industry. Textile industry is one industry, and the upstream industries are agriculture industry. They supply the fiber. Petrochemicals industry, they supply the petrochemicals to produce the synthetic fiber. At the same time, one industry supplies raw materials to another industry. And what is industry here? Industry means representation of all firms in a sector. Can you tell me what is industry? Who can tell me what is industry? So, okay. To understand the industry, three important terms are important. Number one is plant. Number two is farm. And number three is industry. Plant. Plant means a unit of production. Plant means a unit of production. Say for an example, Square Textiles is a textile company. Square Textiles Limited. Square Textiles Limited has many different plants. Washing plant, a dyeing plant, knitting plant. Washing plant means washing the garments or washing the fabric or washing the components of garments. So washing plant means a unit of production that is controlled by a firm. And Square Textiles Limited is a firm. Firm means one or more plants owned by a people or a group of people. Square Textiles Limited is owned by some people. And under this ownership of Square Textiles, there are several plants. So plant is the smallest unit of production. Firm is a company. Firm is also known as company. Square Textiles Limited, isn't it a company? It is a company. And what is industry? All the firms together is known as industry. Say for an example, textile industry. Textile industry means Square Textiles Limited, Beximco Textiles Limited, Vialatex Limited, Microfiber Limited, Babylon Limited, Fokir Fashions Limited. Are you getting the point? What is the industry? When you say the industry, it means all the companies in a field, textile industry. If we say banking industry, what does it mean? Banking industry, to understand, banking industry means all banks in our country. All banks means maybe One Bank Limited, maybe Prime Bank Limited, maybe Dhaka Bank Limited. So these are a firm. Dhaka Bank Limited is a firm, a company. One Bank Limited is a firm, a company. Prime Bank Limited is a company. Company is known as a firm. And one company is totally separate from the another company by ownership. Ownership is different. But what is plant? Plant means the unit of the firm. Every branch of a bank is equivalent to a plant. Every branch is not separated by ownership. Branches, Dhaka Bank has 200 or 50 or 500 or 50, 100 branches. All branches together is known as firm, and firm is represented by the owners. Plants are not separated by the owners. Mirpur branch, Boshundara branch, Gulistan branch. These branches, it doesn't indicate any ownership separation. It indicates Dhaka Bank has few branches. Branches is like plants. So when we talk about the micro supply chain, we talk about the relationship between the different components, different firms. One firm is receiving inputs from the other firms. And when we talk about the macro supply chain, we show the relationship of the industries. How textile industry is receiving inputs from the agricultural industry. How the textile industry is receiving inputs from the petrochemicals industry. So when we check the relationship between the industries, we say it is macro supply chain. So in case of garments, textile industry receives inputs from the agricultural industry. Agriculture industry means cotton, and the textile industry also receives input from the petrochemical industry for producing synthetic fiber. At the same time, textile industry produces product, and this product is supplied to the another industry. So for an example, shipping industry. Textile industry and shipping industry, textile operations and shipping operations is not same. So shipping industry, textile industry, external distributors. We are talking now about the external distributors. External distributor is shipping industry. So macro supply chain deals with the relationship between industries. Micro supply chain explains the relationship between the farms or plants. At the same time, do you think that textile industry's output is only consumed by people? Textile industry's output is input of another industry. Another industry is, say for an example, the inputs are used in, road construction and building, isn't it? The outputs of textile industry is the input of, airplane company. The body structure of airplane company is from the technical textiles, because textile is very light. Light objects are used in airplane manufacturing company. Boeing use textiles. So textile industry's output is used by another industry as inputs. This is macro supply chain. This is macro supply chain. And the macro supply chain is represented in IoT, or input output table. Input output table shows the relationship between the industries. Who is textile industry is taking input from the agricultural industry, so how much input they are taking. Textile industry is taking is supplying outputs to the construction industry. So the relationship are shown, the industrial relationship are shown therein input output table, and the input output table is prepared by each government. Bangladesh government is not preparing input output table, but many countries in the world also, Asian Development Bank, ADB, Asian Development Bank develops IoT for Bangladesh. IoT input output tables are available there. Asian Development Bank. This table ultimately the summary of the macro supply chain. Macro supply chain. Maybe you can check we can check IoT. Are you with me? Can you hear me? Micro supply chain is all right to you, isn't it? Have you got the idea, Mr. Sheikh, Mr. Sheikh, Mr. Sheikh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what is micro supply chain? So is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
So I'm
No,
opening a
I can't see the screen.
Excel worksheet. Is it visible? The Excel worksheet?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
No. Okay, that means sharing problem. Now is it visible? Is screen visible to you?
Yes. স্যার আপনার স্পিকার মিউট হয়ে গেছে স্যার।
Oh, sorry. That means here is a table. This table ultimately indicates the relationship between industry. Here is agriculture industry. Here is agriculture industry. Here is mining industry. Here is mining industry. Agriculture industry is supplying inputs to many industries. Agriculture industry supplying inputs to mining industry, 0 to food and beverages industry, to textile industry. So agriculture industry is supplying inputs to textile industry, to leather industry, to wood products industry, pulp paper industry, coke industry, chemicals industry. So are you getting the point? The relationship is about the industries. One industry is supplying inputs to the other industries, other industry is supplying inputs to the one industry. This is known as input output table. This input output table is very representative, is very common representative of the macro supply chain, representative of macro supply chain. Macro supply chain. So input output table is an example of macro supply chain. Usually we focus only on micro supply chain. External distributors, external suppliers, and internal operations. These three common components we will discuss. And this is about the repercussion effect. Repercussion effect, maybe you are as you are the students of master, you are the master student, you should know the repercussion effect. Repercussion effect means that when any industry or any firm in the total supply chain produces something, the production affects the other industries. Say for an example, when textile industry will take input from chemical industry, so chemical industry's production will increase. At the same time, chemical industry receives input from the petrochemicals industry. So petrochemicals industry production will also increase because the chemical industry supply inputs to textile industry. When the say for example, one unit will be supplied to the textile industry. This one unit needs to produce. When they will produce one unit, the industry will take inputs from the petroleum industry. So in the petroleum industry, production will increase. So there is a repercussion effect. When you buy some product from one office, one outlet, say for example, you can buy a shirt from Bosundara. When you will buy the shirt from Bosundara, Bosundara will buy one more shirt from the supplier. When the supplier will produce that product, the supplier will receive inputs from the other industries. So there is a repercussion or related effects. So when you buy any product from any industry, any company, this affects the other industries, isn't it? Are you getting the point? Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan, are you with me?
Yes sir.
So have you got what is repercussion effect?
Yes sir.
So that means this IoT helps to identify the repercussion effect. IoT helps to identify the repercussion effect, and the repercussion effect analysis was developed by Professor Leontief. And this is repercussion effect is also known as Leontief effect. And for developing such type of table, Mr. Leontief was awarded Nobel Prize, Nobel Economic Prize, Nobel Prize in Economics. So maybe if we have some time, we can calculate the repercussion effect from the input-output table. But for the moment, we are going to discuss about the other theoretical issues. Describe the structure of supply chain. What is the structure of supply chain? The structure of supply chain means that internal operations and then external suppliers and then
Supply.
internal distributors. What happens? All right, are you connected? Then they describe the, can you hear me? Miss Jaren?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So, structure is clear, and then describe the bullwhip effect. Bullwhip effect, what is bullwhip effect? Bullwhip effect means that, so you are going to produce garments, shirt. You are going to produce shirt. When you are going to produce shirt, you do not know what is the market demand. You need to know exactly what is the market demand. How many units you are gonna produce? How will know the amount of demand or number of units you are going to produce? You will receive the information from the external distributors. How many units the company has sold last year? So you will add some additional issues and then you will produce for the moment. But if you do not get the right information, what will happen? What will happen? You will produce the product, but the consumers will not buy the product. And the result will be very disruptive. You will out of the business. When you are not getting the right information from the supply chain members, this is known as the bullwhip effect. So wrong information are coming to you. Based on the wrong information, you are producing more products, and after producing more products, what is happening? You are ultimately caught up and your business is going to close down. This is known as the bullwhip effect. Passing the wrong information among the supply chain. Passing the wrong information among the supply chain is known as bullwhip effect. Describe the supply chain for service industries. For service industries, internal operations are there, external distributions are there, but external suppliers are absent there, isn't it? When you develop a software, do you need any supply from the external parties? You do not need any supplies because you are developing software using your knowledge base, what you are developing there. Yes, you may say that you need the aesthetics. Aesthetics, say for an example, when you are using a pen drive, isn't it? It's ultimately providing you service to transfer your data, but there is aesthetics. There is a folder. So there is different issue. You need to some physical content of the total supply from the external suppliers. But for the moment, usually in the service organizations, they do not collect any inputs or raw materials from the external suppliers. So in the service organization supply chain, two components. One is internal operations and another is external distributions to sell the service product. And describe the major issues that affect the supply chain management. There are a lot of issues in today's world. Technology is number one. Technology is affecting the total supply chain. And due to applications of technology, all the parties are related with each other. All the parties are related with each other. And when you are producing any product, these information are going to the retailers. when even the retailers are selling a product, you are receiving the information that retailer has sold the product, because there is different coding system, RFID. Say for example, RFID, radio frequency identification number. If the product, if there is a tag, RFID tag in the product, then those who are involved in the total supply chain, each party know what happens in the market. So technology has changed the system, and the word e-commerce has evolved, or e-commerce has developed. So there are a lot of factors that affect the total supply chain. We also discuss the result of factors that affect the supply chain is electronic commerce. Describe the global issues in supply chain management. Global issues means that you cannot produce the product. There are a lot of issues are involved in globally. Say for example, vertical integration. What is vertical integration? Vertical integration means that you are buying raw materials outside of your country, and you are producing the product inside of your country, and then you are selling the product outside of your country. So here the supply chain, global supply chain, global issues, vertical integration, it is known as vertical integration. You are buying the raw materials from outside of your country, you are producing the product in your country, you are selling the product outside of your country. Vertical integration. Textile industry of Bangladesh is mostly vertically integrated. Vertically integrated, and this is also known as international production sharing. International production sharing. That means you are receiving inputs from many different countries, and because of the vertical integration, there are a lot of manufacturing, textile manufacturing companies are coming to Bangladesh, and they are establishing the factories here. Factories here. Say for example, Amazon. Amazon has their factory in Bangladesh, and what they are doing, they are importing raw materials from the other countries, producing in Bangladesh and selling in the United States and all over the world through online and offline sales centers. So because of the global issues, China has become the world's factory. China arak naam ki bolen to? World's factory. All manufacturing facilities are there in the China. Say for example, Apple is producing their iPhone, Apple is producing their MacBooks there in China, and they are supplying the product to all over the world. That means inputs are coming from United States, and then the product is manufacturing there in China. Product are going out of China. It is known as vertical integration. Global issues in supply chain. Globalization has a great impact on the supply chain matter. Describe the government regulations that affect the supply chain. Yes, government regulations. So when we produce garments here in Bangladesh, why the European Union is buying garments from Bangladesh? Because of government regulations. The government regulations, have you heard the word MFA, multi-fiber agreement? Multi-fiber agreement, have you heard the word?
No, sir.
No. Multi-fiber agreement, it was international WTO. WTO means World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization is a platform to discuss the international trade issues. What problems are you facing? How the problems can be overcome? This is ultimately a forum. They do not have any special regulations. They do not have any controlling body. They are just the forum to discuss the different issues. Many countries' representatives join together and they discuss together in the World Bank forum, and then they make the decisions. That is World Bank. World Trade Organization. So, European Union has allowed GSP facility. GSP facility means Generalized System of Preference facility. Facility for the developing country. Bangladesh is a not developing country, for the LDCs. Bangladesh was a LDC, least developed country. And the least development country can, as a government regulation, can export the goods to the developed country without any tariff. So because of government regulations, the European people are buying garments from Bangladesh. Canadian people, same thing. Japanese people are buying garments from Bangladesh because of the government regulations. So government regulations sometimes affect the total supply chain. And say, for example, we buy raw materials from international market, garments raw materials. We can buy the raw materials at zero tariff. Zero tariff means that you do not need to pay any import duty. Import duty while you are buying raw materials from outside of the country. This is government regulations, but if you buy the same raw materials not for producing any garments, you have to pay taxes. So supply chain, because of government regulations, the total cost of the supply chain increases or decreases. So a lot of government regulations are there. Say for an example, when you buy a car from Japan, you have to pay 300% taxes. That means if the car price is $100, you have to pay $200 tax to the government. So the total supply chain is interrupted. বাংলাদেশে যদি এই ট্যাক্স না থাকতো, বাংলাদেশে দেখতেন যে গাড়িতে ভরা, রাস্তায় রিক্সা, কোনো রিক্সা থাকতো না, প্রত্যেকটা লোকের গাড়ি থাকতো। কারণ কি, জাপানে একটা গাড়ির দাম আপনার অ্যারাউন্ড 50,000, যেটা আমরা ব্যবহার করি 17-18 লাখ টাকা দিয়ে কিনি, এটা অ্যারাউন্ড আপনার 2 লাখ। এই 2 লাখের একটা গাড়ি বাংলাদেশে আসতে আসতে আপনার 20 লাখ পায়। কাজে এই যে গভর্নমেন্ট রেগুলেশন যদি না থাকতো তাহলে কি হতো, রাস্তায় গাড়িতে থাকতো কি ভরা, এবং হাঁটা কোনো মানুষের রাস্তায় হাঁটার সুযোগ থাকতো না, এবং যাতায়াতের জন্য শুধু হাঁটাই ব্যবস্থা থাকতো, হাঁটাই লাগতো। কারণ গাড়ি একটার পেছনে একটা, কারণ বাংলাদেশে কি নেই, রোডস নেই। একটা রাস্তা আছে, সেটা আপনার ওয়াকওয়ে হিসেবে ব্যবহার করা যায়। তো সেই রাস্তা দিয়ে যদি এইভাবে গাড়ি চলে তাহলে কি হতো। So government regulations interrupts the total supply chain. Describe the green supply chain management. Now the issue is environmental concern comes. Is your supply chain green? Raw materials you are using in garments industry, is it natural or is it non-natural? That means synthetic. For synthetic product, the synthetic chemical industry is destroying our total system. So the issue is coming to our industry that use the green supply chain, and there are different international certifications from green supply chain. Say for an example, USGBC, United States Green Building Corporation, certify whether your production facility is green or not green. If your production facility is green, they award certificates, platinum certificates, that means 100% green. Gold certificate, not 100%, but around 90 to 80% green. I'm not talking about the exact number, I'm talking about the levels of green certifications: platinum, gold, silver, and platinum, gold, silver. These are the 3 categories of certificate. United States Green Building Corporation check the operations. 3 indicators they check. Number 1 indicator, they check the operations, whether your operations is green. They check the building structure, whether the building structure you are manufacturing or you are constructing is green or not. And then they also check the environmental protection. Say for an example, ETP, effluent treatment plant, WTP, water treatment plant. They check these issues. If these issues are available, they provide either platinum certificate, gold certificate, or silver certificate. These certificates are awarded to the manufacturing facilities, and production managers are involved with this certification process. So green supply chain is a factor, and green supply chain is you know, sorry, green supply chain is very important to this world. At the same time, maybe you know about the green supply chain. The German investors or German companies are financing our textile company to recycle the product. Recycle the product, that means there are 3 R's: reuse, reduce, and recycle. This is one of the components of green supply chain. Greening the company, greening the operations: reuse, reduce, and recycle. You can recycle some materials, you can reuse some materials. Say for an example, recycle. Yeah, this shirt, after use of few months, you will throw it out, and you will not throw it out. Otherwise you will send it to the factory. Factory will reuse and recycle it. Again, they will produce shirt with this components, new shirt. Recycle. Reuse means you can same thing. You can reuse it, and at the same time you can reduce. So in greening the supply chain, you can think of these issues: reuse, reduce, and recycle. And describe the role of purchasing in supply chain management. Yes, this is very important. Role of purchasing, what does it mean? Role of purchasing, what does it mean? Role of purchasing, you need to purchase raw materials. Don't you need external suppliers? When you are buying raw materials from the people, there are costs involved, negotiation involved. Cost involvement means that when you are buying product, you need transportation cost, isn't it? You need transportation cost. Maybe you will buy fabric from China. When you will buy fabric from China, you will transport the fabric from China to Bangladesh. A huge transportation cost is involved. And in today's world, in addition to transportation cost, you have to pay the insurance cost. Risk is also there. So you have to pay insurance premium. So when you will buy the raw materials, purchase the raw materials, will you purchase in installments or will you purchase in bulk system? Bulk system, maybe you will produce huge amount of raw materials together. This will reduce your transportation cost, transaction cost. At the same time, when you will buy bulk amount of raw materials, the unit price will also minimum. Unit price will be minimum. But if you buy in installments, the transportation cost, if you buy in 4 installments, 4th time you have to pay transportation cost. So whether you will use bulk purchase system or whether you will use installment purchase system, you have to decide in your as a supply chain operations manager. Supply chain and operations manager, you have to think. So there are some issues on purchasing we also discuss. And if you buy in bulk, then there is a scale of economy effect. That means your transportation cost will decline. Buying more means you have to pay per unit cost will decline. We also discuss about the strategic purchasing partnership and today's world. Lecture লেকচারে আপনার আগের যে সিস্টেম, আগের টিচাররা যেভাবে লেকচার দিত, এখন কি আমরা সেভাবে দেই? আগের টিচাররা ওয়াজ ভেরি স্ট্রিক্ট। ইউ ক্যানট এন্টার দি ক্লাসরুম আফটার দি এন্ট্রান্স অফ দি টিচার। আমি যখন ছাত্র ছিলাম, ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের ছাত্র ছিলাম, ম্যাক্সিমাম টিচারের ইনস্ট্রাকশন ছিল সে ঢোকার পরে অন্য কেউ ঢুকতে পারবে না। হ্যাভ ইউ গট ইট? আর এখন আপনারা কি করেন? সেদিন আইইউবির আপনার ওয়াশরুম, আমি মনে করছি তো আইইউবি যেহেতু একটা ভালো ইউনিভার্সিটি, ওয়াশরুম মনে হয় সবার জন্যই একই রকম। আমি ছাত্রদের ওয়াশরুমে ঢুকে দেখি যে সবগুলিতে বিড়ি টানতেছে, প্রত্যেকটার হাতে বিড়ি। এখন আপনার এই যে রিলেশনশিপ দ্যাট আই এম টকিং আউট, স্ট্র্যাটেজিক পারচেজিং পার্টনারশিপ, যে আপনার সাথে যে আমার রিলেশনশিপ, এই দেয়ার আর স্ট্র্যাটেজিক্যালি চেঞ্জেস। আমরা যেভাবে গুরু শিষ্য রিলেশনশিপ মনে করতাম, সেই রিলেশনশিপ এখন আর নেই। এখন হচ্ছে ফ্রেন্ডলি রিলেশনশিপ। আদারওয়াইজ দি স্টুডেন্টস উইল নট কাম টু দি টিচার্স। Friendly relationship is interest strategic way of making partnership with the students. So in supply chain management, similarly, even if you are not buying any goods from the company, you have to maintain a relationship, long-term relationship. Maybe you are selling a product to H&M, M&S or Walmart. This time they are not buying any product from you. It doesn't mean that you are going to cancel your friendship. Rather, you will increase your